Now, the rest of the story.
Well, as luck would have it, I dropped my phone and just smashed the screen all to bits. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the last, much of any updates to the combine. Found this guy in the parts bin. If you guys look familiar, if this looks familiar to you guys at all, I used this for connecting those cab cams into the power strip on the combine, which are really handy for, you getting your power for random odds and ends and tools. Well, because, okay, I got a little bit of stuff in the mail today. It's all superficial stuff that the combine will operate perfectly fine without it, but from the cell phone holder, I got to go through and take off all these rubber buttons and put some super glue on them so they don't come sliding off. I did this in the 4640 at 10 o'clock this spring the first night of planting. Not sure how I did it. Of course, it was dark out when I did it, and I got a bunch of that stuff in my face and never really disclosed that online, but yeah, that wasn't very enjoyable. The combine's gonna be pretty much looking just like the 46, because I did go through not a high-end, high-spec speaker.
Power it off.
It's the same thing that's in the 4640. It's actually just a touch cheaper for the same price, so figure that out. I was asked why we don't bother going through and setting the radio up for just plugging in a cable or anything like that. Same thing with an FM transmitter. I've tried all that stuff. I use the wired connections in the 7600. The problem with the combine, I did have a wired connection in the combine last year, but that wire actually picks up power off, frequency or disturbance, whatever. I know the goofy terms for it too, but it's just you get all the static across the speakers from plugging in that wired connection, and I don't want to go to the fancy headache of swapping out that radio altogether when that radio in there is just fine. I mean, Dad listens to the local radio stations. I don't listen to the regular radio any more than I absolutely have to. I'd rather just turn on some random music, as you guys heard in my repairing the disc spine video. It's elevator music is all I get. I mean, get flack for, but it's just that simple, just background noise. I don't even need to listen to music. It's just, just to have something playing. The combine itself is pretty well ready to go. The bean head is ready to go. I'm gonna mount this on that bar that runs across. I gotta go through and do all my wire managements. Same thing. I actually have the mount, because this is all that came in the mail, but I have the rest of the mount. I have another one in the 7600 that I can pull out of that tractor because it's been in there for forever. And well, I guess we don't need that. But another thing that it's operator creature comforts, and I got it from Super Bright LEDs. But this technically should replace the cab dome light, because the one that's in it is just so dim it doesn't really give you much of any light. So these LEDs, for as simple as they are, I think this thing was like $3. The shipping, I think, was worse than what it actually cost to get this. But the 4640 and the 7600, I've changed out the cab lights on. I think the 82, it might actually have this style on it. That's a good question. They're coming tomorrow to unlock the auto steer on the 8235R. Yes, that's right. We're not getting I got on a list, and the list was essentially them saying that, I think it's the same too. I'm gonna need a screwdriver. I'm pretty sure it's the same light that's in the combine. Somebody's garbage. Bottled water. Travis doesn't drink bottled water. Box cutter. Now, don't watch this or don't try this at home, kids. I am an untrained professional. And why is this in here? Because of that. I've found over many years of inexperience. I'm sorry if I'm getting motion sickness, Dave. I've come to the conclusion, get rid of the bugs, a box cutter with a quick change blade on it is the best tool to have in the baler tractor. And my knife is a Menards Special, where that's all it is. I've gotten more use out of this in one season of baling than I've gotten over several years of several different stereotypical just regular old pocket knives, because I don't use them for screwdrivers. Oh, I guess you saw me use this mini pry bar, but this right here is just so stinking handy. And the amount of time, or all the time I've spent sharpening or resharpening the pocket blades I had growing up, and then I just had an epiphany one day. It's all I could find in the parts bin, so I didn't have my pocket with me, or my pocket knife with me. And I went through and just said, heck with it, I probably need my knife again. Oh darn. So what you do, pop that little guy out of there, and we're gonna look here. Looks like, oh, you guys are a little blurry. That might be because my phone got smashed. Man, don't worry, the replacement phone is on its way. $250 later. That's the deductible. Man, that looks important. Oh man, that looks like it's been plugged in too. Oh boy. I'm not sure what to make out of that. But let's we can put this in the 82 and see how it works. I mean, it's aiming for the combine, but ooh. Oops, got my finger. Got my other finger. Who says making these videos isn't dangerous to a person's health? I just got both my fingers. Grazed them. I just grazed them. There. That's all these are. Just a little set of LEDs. There are multiple styles out there that you can get. And this goes in like that. Make sure that it's pointing down, and aha, isn't that cool? And okay, see how much light it's throwing out? And that's just during the day. I mean, that's why you see we got the lights on. Those are those honeycomb lights in the machine shed. That's why I go through and I like having the LEDs on, even in the skid steer. The Bobcat, when I'm stacking hay, it has LEDs front and back, and even during the day, they're bright enough where they throw light. And you get in those sheds, dark sheds and everything, it's nice being able to see anything that might be potentially waiting to get you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order another one of these for the 82. Because slowly but surely we are going the LED route. So the combine has this exact same fixture, but you got to be careful. Might not be the exact same, but I almost broke it in the combine because I thought I saw a diagram of these, and I swore that this whole piece came down like up by the switch, and then no, it doesn't. What I saw is, ooh, it's different. Okay, it's not exactly like the 82 or the combine, because the combine, there's 2 bolts that go in right there that hold it in, and this, it's a different creature. But all it is snap that in, and I mean, that dim yellow, I mean, I don't know if it's just because they're trying to be courteous to other people. Well, I don't really run into too many other drivers out in the middle of the field, middle of the night. And usually when we are using those, it's when we're shutting down for the night. So being able to see around the cab to pick up anything that that we got thrown on the floor, or tools or parts that have fallen off throughout the day. But for a couple dollars, you too can update the dome lights in your cabs. So, ugh. Well, I'm gonna work in the combine. I've been working on fence all day, and I really do, and I might just do it tonight because the wind has been blowing all day. And I got to hook the 46 up. I got the monitor in it already to that 3-point sprayer of mine, and I'm gonna flush it with water, run winterizer through it, and take it home and unhook it so I can scoop it up with, well, the deer steer's down there. I can scoop it up with the deer steer and take it home, or put it up in the shed. But I didn't get carried away spraying too much this year because inputs. Fertilizer. They've decided that stuff doesn't need to be cheap. It wasn't cheap to begin with, so it's just gotten that much worse. So I've been keeping an eye on what the valley's doing, and yeah, it's gonna be worth cutting again, but we're already cutting hay right now, and I'm running around doing a bunch of odd stuff today. I'm planning on cutting waterways and other fun stuff tomorrow, pastures and some field ground. The plan is pretty much to cut everything, and then that way, all that, by the end of this week, all that'll really potentially be left is the valley. And I'm not planning on making the valley till the second half of September. So we get to like the 3rd or 4th week, and we get a dry spell, a stretch where we can get down there, cut it, ted it, bale it, haul it in, space it out. It's going to sit outside down there until I'm ready to haul it out. Then that'll be that. So the goal is 180 bales down there, and that'll get me to where I want to be. 180 bales isn't out of the question. This time around, third cut had more downtime, or more time to grow back between second and third than the grass had between first and second. So the reason I did that is because I wanted to get down and get it cut, because it had pretty much stunted out at that point in time anyway. And if I hadn't have done that, the weather ultimately did exactly what I figured it was going to do, and I wouldn't have been able to get the second cut made until last week. So I got lucky, because if I would have only made second cut, or been able to make second cut a week ago, like you're looking at the end of August, mid-August, I probably would have given it the finger and said, let it sit till the end of September anyway, and get overripe and whatever else, and let that be that. Because you know what? I'm not going to be able to have enough time, or it's not going to have enough growth there to do it a third time. But we're going to have all of our waterways cleaned off, and we make them the 1st of September like this. By the time you get another week or so of growing on them, everything's not really going to grow back to a point where it's going to be a big hassle. Because I don't really like having really tall, lush, thick grass for your waterways, because one of the hazards the corn head has is that if you're not picking the head up enough where it's clearing that wet grass in the morning, that grass will actually grab onto one of your snoots on the corn head. I mean, because you think, oh, it's grass, your snoots will just slide right through. No, it won't. What it'll do is that grass will basically embody the word teamwork and latch onto your snoot, and it'll yank your snoot down underneath the head and destroy your snoot, and then cost you a couple $100, which I don't know what the new snoots cost on the 12-row head, but I highly doubt they're going to be any cheaper than the ones for the 6-row. And unfortunately, the corn snoots, the head snoots, aren't the same ones as the ones that were on the 6-row, so it's a different design altogether. So our spares are pretty much useless, but at least my buddy can use them. So we got that going for us. Kind of looking forward to do exactly that, though. We're going to run through, I couldn't tell you if it's 100 acres or so. It might be a healthy run at about 100 acres that we'll have to make here. I don't know. I don't want to think too much. If you guys could, you know, smell throughout the video, you'd probably smell bacon me trying to think about it. But a lot of the stuff we're trying to get made right now is made. We're trying to get it made dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all the parts put in this combine, and then the wind is still blowing, but hopefully by the time I get done with the combine, I'll just flush it, wash it, and I'll just take it home with me tonight, and I'll just bring the 46 back in the morning. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So I hate being one of those people. I hate being one of those types. I do. I really hate it. But unfortunately, it's ultimately what I have to do. I have to ask for your support to keep the channel going. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, I'm for the most part wrapping up on the combine cab update or accessories, and all that's really left is to hook up the monitor, but we need that for 2 more projects yet. I still haven't winterized the sprayer. I mean, it sounds really bad, but the wind was blowing pretty nasty all day today, and I didn't want to get covered in that stuff. So I went through and burned through not as many cable ties as I thought I would, but I ran or cable managed everything back the best I could back underneath here, which if you guys are up where I'm looking at, I mean, you can't really see the wires. I got all the cable ties. I went through and I snipped them off with the side cutters, and then I took my pocket knife and I grazed that, shimmed it back, because that way you don't have to worry about, you know, cutting your fingers off. Cell phone mount, not really sure if that's the best place for it, but a lot of everything we're putting on this bar, we're trying to keep the real estate open from here to here, because right through there where you're looking at the end of that white tank and the end of the milk house, that's where the heads are, and really don't want to block our line of sight. I ran into an issue that I caused myself, so I got the sunlight guards for these. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put them on yet, and you can see only one of my cameras lit up. Well, that was self-inflicted. I pulled on this cable too hard, and I pulled the wire right out of the solder. So I'm gonna go up, resolder that, and then this camera will be ready to go. That does act like it's, even this one's not acting the best. And I think the updates in the planner are pretty well done for a while. I mean, I really don't have much to talk about it, other than we'll need to get it out for doing the corn head. But the next week or so is going to be cutting hay, making hay. Ryan cut a bunch today. I'm going to cut a bunch tomorrow. And then ideally we can get it all raked, baled, hauled in by the first part of the week. And then a chance to go around and finish up some of this last minute stuff. I want to go through, I got to treat all the bins, you know, for bugs and do that. But that's the last update I had for here for the time being. So talk to you later.